In Able-God boarding school, there were so many mysteries, but Matron Linda crossed the line, a story written by Christie Midnight Tales. They say Able-God boarding school is a place of excellence. But behind the tall gates and spotless compound, secrets breathe in the dark. The school had stood for over 40 years, producing brilliant minds and disciplined leaders, yet even in such a place, evil found a way to take root. Blessing was one of those students who brought light wherever she went. She wasn't from a wealthy home, her parents struggled to keep her in school. But her intelligence was unmatched. From the moment she stepped foot in Able-God boarding school, she swept every competition. Mathematics quiz. She came first. Debate. She spoke so eloquently that even the judges applauded her. Science projects, spelling bees. Essay contest, Blessing became the pride of the school. Teachers adored her, students respected her, but not everyone was happy. Matron Linda watched her from the sidelines with a heart that simmered with jealousy. She was the school's matron, known for her strictness and short temper. Her daughter, Favor, also attended Able-God. Favor was the opposite of Blessing in every way. Where Blessing's books were neatly arranged and her notes carefully written, Favor's bag was a mess. While Blessing collected awards and scholarships, Favor was constantly in trouble, caught stealing biscuits, skipping prep, failing every exam. At first, Linda brushed it off. Not every child is brilliant, she told herself. But each time the teachers praised Blessing in her presence, comparing her daughter to the star pupil, something inside her tightened. Matron, you should be proud of Blessing, one teacher said one afternoon after inter-house sports. She's representing this school in the state competition next month. She's making us all proud. Linda forced a smile, but inside, the words cut her like a blade. She was tired of hearing about Blessing. Tired of her daughter's shameful reputation. Tired of the way Blessing seemed to shine while Favor stumbled through every term. The whispers in the staff room only worsened it. Blessing is like a gift to this school. She's so humble. Unlike some girls who have bad home training. Linda knew those comments were aimed at her child. At her parenting. And slowly, resentment began to grow. It started with little things. When Blessing came to her for extra soap for laundry, Linda snapped, "What happened to the one I gave you last week? Do you think money grows on trees?" Even when Blessing offered to pay from her pocket money, Linda waved her away. During visiting days, she deliberately delayed Blessing's parents at the gate, making them wait while other families went in. She told herself it was harmless discipline, but deep down, she hated Blessing's presence. Blessing, sweet and unaware, kept excelling. She would often smile at Linda in the dining hall, greeting her politely, "Good evening, Ma." But Linda only nodded stiffly, her eyes lingering coldly. By second term, the tension had become obvious to some of the students. "Have you noticed Matron Linda doesn't like Blessing?" one girl whispered as they scrubbed their plates. "I thought it was just me." Another replied, "She's always frowning at her. I wonder why." Jealousy, maybe. Blessing kept winning. She was preparing for a national-level science quiz that term, and her name was even printed in the school newsletter. Pictures of her holding trophies lined the notice board. Parents would point at them during visiting days and tell their children, "Look at Blessing, you should be like her." Linda would pass by that board and feel her stomach twist. Her own daughter's name was nowhere. Favor had been caught cheating in an exam just a week before. Another slap to Linda's pride. At home in her staff quarters, Linda began venting her frustration. "Favor, can't you see how that girl is embarrassing me? Every teacher is praising her, while you're always being punished. Are you trying to shame me?" Favor pouted, twirling a pencil in her hand. "It's not my fault she's too smart. I don't like her." The resentment in Linda's heart began to fester like an untreated wound. The rainy season came early that year. Heavy storms would soak the compound, and the students often huddled in their dorms listening to the rain batter the tin roofs. One particularly stormy night, Linda stood at her window, watching the flashes of lightning. Across the courtyard, in the dimly lit library, she spotted a faint glow. Blessing was there, alone, studying past prep time again. Linda's jaw tightened. Does she ever sleep? She muttered. Even in the dead of night, that girl was working hard, pushing herself. That image burned itself into Linda's mind that night. As the thunder rumbled, Linda lay awake, her thoughts darkening. The anger was no longer just anger, it was envy, pure and bitter. She began imagining ways to humble Blessing, to teach her a lesson. One Friday evening, the announcement came that Blessing had qualified for an international competition. The principal himself congratulated her, saying the school's name would be known nationwide. The staff clapped, the students cheered. Blessing's face glowed with joy. Linda stood at the back of the hall, clapping stiffly, her smile fake. That night, as she returned to her quarters, her jealousy hardened into something dangerous, and that was the night she made a decision she could never undo. That night she sneaked into the hostel. The girls were sleeping. She went straight to where Blessing was, quietly opened her bag, and hid a bracelet inside. Morning in Able God boarding school was always loud. Buckets clanged on the pavement, girls hurried to fetch water, and the sharp sound of the assembly bell echoed across the compound. But that particular morning carried an uneasy tension. Students whispered to one another as Matron Linda stormed into the senior dormitory with 2 security guards. Everybody stand still. Her voice cracked like a whip, sending chills down spines. The girls froze, towels wrapped around their bodies. Linda's eyes darted around the room with a dangerous glare. Something valuable has been stolen from my quarters, she said, her voice dripping with venom. And I know exactly who took it. The girls exchanged worried glances. Linda had a reputation for being ruthless, but this felt different. She seemed angrier than usual, her hands clenched at her sides, her lips tight, her eyes landed on Blessing. The quiet, brilliant girl who stood near her neatly arranged locker, clutching a Bible to her chest. Blessing looked confused. You, Linda spat, pointing at her. I saw you sneaking around my quarters yesterday evening. Bring me my gold bracelet before I disgrace you in front of everybody. Gasps filled the dorm. Blessing's eyes widened in shock. More. I don't know what you're talking about, she stammered, her voice trembling. I've never been near you. Shut your mouth. Linda backed, stepping closer. Search her locker. She ordered the guards. One of the guards, a tall man with a stern face, began opening Blessing's locker carefully. The entire dorm watched in tense silence as he searched every compartment, shaking out clothes, rifling through notebooks. Blessing stood still, tears filling her eyes. Nothing more, the guard finally said, looking up at Linda. Linda blinked, taken aback. That wasn't possible. She had hidden the bracelet there herself last night, convinced she'd finally disgraced the girl. Check again. Linda snapped, her voice trembling slightly. The guard checked again, but the result was the same, nothing. Linda's face darkened. She turned sharply. Search everyone's locker. She backed, trying to mask her rising panic. The dorm erupted into chaos as bags were emptied. Lockers thrown open, and clothes tossed around. Finally, one of the guards let out a shocked whistle. Found it. The dorm fell silent. Everyone turned to see the guard holding up the glittering bracelet. But it wasn't in Blessing's locker.